She hadn't said a word, hadn't broken a rule, hadn't even looked the wrong way. And yet there she was, Vanessa Carter, being dragged out of her first-class seat in front of an entire cabin of strangers. Her crime? Existing while black. She wasn't loud. She wasn't unruly. She wasn't armed. She was calm, polished, and silent. But apparently, that wasn't enough. The flight attendant didn't blink. The security guards didn't ask questions. The passengers barely turned their heads. One moment, Vanessa was fastening her seatbelt in 1A. The next, she was being escorted down the narrow aisle like she was a threat to national security. But what no one knew, not the gate agent, not the crew, not even the man who'd toss her his trash like she was a waitress, was who she really was. Because this wasn't just about a seat. It was about the chasm between prejudice and privilege. It was about what happens when the very system that tries to erase you ends up depending on you for its survival. Vanessa Carter had boarded that flight from LAX to London with nothing but a quiet grace. She was dressed in a cream blazer and tailored black slacks. Her black carry-on gleamed beside her, initials VC etched into the leather. She didn't demand attention, she simply moved like someone who belonged. Gate 37 was busy, but she was early. This trip wasn't for leisure, it was business. She was the keynote speaker at an international health technology conference, set to seal a partnership worth hundreds of millions. The scanner blinked as she stepped up for boarding. Blue light pulsed. Then again. Then red. Identity not verified. "Ma'am, please step aside for manual clearance," the gate agent said, tone syrupy and distant. Vanessa raised a brow. "Why?" Facial recognition sometimes struggles with newer profiles. "My profile's 4 years old, and my face hasn't changed. It's standard procedure," the woman replied. But Vanessa knew it wasn't. Not for others. Not for the two white businessmen who sailed through the scanner seconds later. Green light. Beep. Welcome aboard. Still, she stepped aside. A few feet away, a male gate agent snapped a photo of her. No flash, but not discreet. He turned to his colleague and whispered something. Moments later, her photo popped up in a group chat titled, "Guess who's pretending to be rich today?" Vanessa saw it reflected in the tablet's glass. Someone giggled. Another murmured, "She gonna ask for bottled water next?" Vanessa said nothing. Her jaw clenched just slightly. She'd seen this playbook before. Then a supervisor arrived. His eyes flicked from the screen to her face. Recognition hit like a cold wave. "MS. Carter," he said, paling. She offered no expression. "Of Carter Global." The giggling stopped. The gate agent who'd mocked her went silent, his phone slipping into his pocket. The supervisor fumbled. "We're so sorry. Please priority boarding, of course." Vanessa raised her chin. "Don't rush. I have time to be handled properly." Seat 1A welcomed her with warm lighting and brushed gold accents. But even there, she wasn't safe. A man across the aisle extended his trash toward her without looking up. "Miss, would you mind taking this?" Vanessa stared at him. "I'm sorry." He blinked, registering her clothes, her briefcase. Ohio not, his cheeks flushed pink. "Poor lighting," he mumbled. Then a child pointed. "Mommy, why is that lady sitting up here?" "She's brown." The mother hushed him quickly. Vanessa turned to the window, watching the horizon blur as tears she refused to cry stayed buried. Around her, passengers whispered. They let anyone in here these days. She doesn't look the type. Vanessa gripped the armrest. Not new, not hurt, just tired. A flight attendant appeared. "Ma'am, would you like a mimosa?" Vanessa tilted her head. "Aren't all first-class passengers premium?" The attendant flinched. "Of course, sparkling water, then." "Fiend." Moments later, Vanessa received a chime over the intercom. "Miss Carter, please step to the galley." She followed the voice to the rear of first class. There, 2 crew members waited. "There's been a reassignment," one said. "You've been moved to row 34E." Vanessa's eyes narrowed. That's economy. Technically, it's a configurable passenger seat. She pulled out her phone. Her app still showed seat 1A. But beneath it, a red flag appeared. Passenger flag for secondary review. Disruptive conduct. She blinked. Disruptive? I haven't spoken. It's probably just a system flag, one lied. Tell me who entered it. It's internal protocol. Vanessa inhaled sharply. You know how often this happens to women like me? They didn't respond. With 3 taps, she accessed her security dashboard. The flag had been manually entered by internal crew chat. She opened a secure line. Immediate misuse of internal flag system. Request protocol trace. Flight 204. Then she turned. I'm returning to my seat. Miss Carter, that's not. Unless you plan to restrain me, I suggest you let me walk. She passed through the cabin again. Silence clung to every aisle. Eyes followed her like she was radioactive. She's making a race thing. Not AR. Back in her seat, she resumed reviewing her presentation slides. Hands shaking just enough to betray her fury. Then came Brita, younger attendant with a smug grin and a live-streaming phone just low enough to be sneaky. She snuck into first, Brit whispered to her stream. Affirmative action on full display. Hearts, laughing emojis. Vanessa didn't flinch. She recorded the URL, stored it in a secure cloud, and waited. 2 rows ahead, a man in a pinstripe suit recognized her. That's Vanessa Carter, he whispered. The AI medicine keynote. I saw her at the Equity Summit, his assistant added. She saved the Alzheimer's trial. The man stood. Why is she being treated like this? Rachel returned, tone clipped. We have identity concerns. She's a global innovator. You're accusing her of fraud. Until we confirm, that woman is your keynote speaker for a conference sponsored by your own airline. Rachel went pale. I wasn't aware. She's already recorded your staff mocking her. Rachel bolted. A minute later, uniformed security arrived. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Vanessa stood. Calm. Collected. She handed her tablet to the man across the aisle. Hold this. No one stopped her. No one asked why. As she stepped onto the jet bridge, she heard the doors lock behind her. Then the officers' radios went silent. Vanessa watched as the terminal slowed. Radios dimmed. Screens blinked out. This wasn't random. This was her protocol. A woman slipped her a note. They know who you are. And they're scared. An executive stormed out. Miss Carter. It's Doctor. Of course, Dr. Carter. You'll speak here. In public. An anonymous tip flagged your ID. A lie. I built your system. I funded your AI compliance infrastructure. Silence. Emails pinged her phone. System override. Legal review. Ops rerouted to Carter Institute. Another manager approached. We're offering you a resolution. Business class compensation. You removed me. Humiliated me. Then offered silence money. It's the simplest way forward. For who? An alert buzzed her phone. Elite status revoked. Flagged as reputational liability. She held up the phone. So this is how you erase someone? Security protocol, the manager mumbled. Reinstate my seat. Retract your report. Issue a public correction. That requires higher approval. You had the power to delete me without approval. Her voice hardened. I'm not the woman you eject. I'm the one you'll answer to when your board's funding vanishes. A child's voice rang out nearby. Mom. That's her. That's the doctor who saved Dad. Gasps rippled. Phones lit up. Vanessa turned. Dialed her command line. Activate Tier 1 protocol. Suspend Atlantic West operations. Effective immediately. Minutes later, every departure screen flashed red. All Atlantic West flights suspended. The terminal erupted in chaos. She shut it down, someone whispered. She is the system. A woman approached. Dr. Carter, I am so sorry. My husband is alive because of you. Vanessa nodded. No apology needed. Not from you. The child beamed. You're like Iron Man. Vanessa smiled faintly. Not quite, but I try. The CEO went live from HQ. We apologize to Dr. Carter. This does not reflect who we are. The stream cut. Vanessa turned to the lounge. I shut it down. Gasps. This wasn't a glitch. This was a reflection. You try to weaponize a system I built. And I see you. Cameras rolled. Headlines screamed. Lawsuits. Terminations. Internal audits. Retraining. Passengers spoke up. One man cried on TV. I treated her like she didn't belong. And then, months later, the flight attendant arrived at Vanessa's clinic. No uniform, no script, just a resume. I read your letter. I've been volunteering. I want to help. Vanessa gestured to the seat across from her. We don't hire perfect people, she said. Just those who've been broken enough to understand others. 2 weeks later, Vanessa stood on stage at the TED Summit. This isn't about revenge, she said. It's about responsibility. And about what we do when the world offers us the mic we were never meant to hold. Her image flashed behind her, dragged off the plane on one side, cutting a ribbon at a rural clinic on the other. This is what happens when we don't just survive injustice. We turn it into foundation. The crowd rose in a standing ovation. Back in her hotel room, Vanessa sat alone, sipping tea. No applause necessary. She just wanted the world to think twice before closing the door on someone like her again.